podcast. Thank you very much for waiting so long for the last episode of the season. We're really trying hard to make it as funny as possible. In the meantime, here's a little clip show. It includes clips from the series that have been on so far and a few others that never quite made it to any episodes. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.
I'm back once again, like the Renegade Master. Welcome to episode 3 of the Geeky Dads podcast. I'm yet again Ian Duffy. Happy to be here again. With me, as always, is Chris Moss.
Sega!
Mike Shellshire.
Once again with a Renegade Master. Hi, yes, it's Mike.
You've lost him now.
I'm going to get one of these openings, fine.
You know what? Let's just go with it this time. And Craig Edwards.
Was it? I can't even do it myself now. Hello.
Hello. How is everybody?
Yes, good.
Brilliant. Is Michael composed himself now?
Yeah, absolutely. But like, fucking hell. What was that?
Well, I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny.
Back once again with the Renegade Master. What the fuck?
Oh, genius.
Thank you very much.
I like it.
I was practicing it all day.
You could tell.
Yeah.
And you didn't expect me to come on and just go, fucking hell. What the fuck is that?
Like when we were young, and the whole thing with like possession and stuff. I've never been comfortable around possession as a kid. Yeah. That's why I don't like the Care Bears movie.
Oh, you're talking about the one?
Yeah,
the one with the evil book.
Yeah, with the evil book.
I remember that.
That messed me up something rotten. I don't like that. So you laugh now, mate, but you know. But
I watched it a few years ago. It's terrifying.
I told you. Say thank you. But yeah, no, it's got to be the Devil Dogs. They were, that, and I suppose the librarian right at the beginning, because that was what it was like as a kid. You wanted like the scary stuff sort of thing,
Can we roll back a little bit? What is it about this Care Bears movie that like scared you?
There's a book, right? There's a book, and it's got a face in the middle, and it possesses this lad.
Right.
Yeah. This is true,
and that scared you terribly.
As a kid, that was messed up. I didn't.
And Teddy Care came out and like vanquished it or something.
The Care
Bears.
Yeah,
they all.
I only know like one like Ted. Like all I can remember is Teddy Care. That's all I can remember from Care Bears.
Care Bears, they basically spunked the magic out of the chests on the
and they had some like animal mates as well. There was a lion and a penguin and a rhinoceros and a wasp and I don't know what else.
What do you call it?
Care Bear buddies or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I need to tell you guys a story about the Care Bears, right? No. This is absolutely true. Like I don't remember watching the Care Bears throughout my life, but I had a Teddy Care when I was a child, and I was obsessed with this Teddy Care as a child. And we went to Butlins in Bethely one year. Everyone knows Butlins in Bethely if you're from England or like from the northwest of England, especially. We went to Butlins one year. And had a great time, stuff like that. Got back home and I realised I'd left my Teddy Care in Bethely. And I cried my eyes out. And I was like, oh no, I left my Teddy Care. I would carry this thing everywhere. So much that it had like an imprint of 3 fingers on the back of it where I was like carrying it when like my mother had washed it and I got it out of the washing machine. And it still had the finger imprints from when it was still wet, and it dried when I was like still like grabbing it, and it was like a shriveled mess, and it was just like it just carried it everywhere anyway.
You still talking about the Care Bear mix? That sounds
Still is there. Yeah.
You're grabbing something else.
No, seriously. was on its butt as well. That was the best bit. But like, so they tried to like recover this teddy because I was like completely obsessed. And my nan was like, "Well, I'll buy him another one." And she bought me another one, and she was like, "Oh, look, we found it!" And she handed it to me, and I cried my eyes out. I was like, "It's evil! It's evil!" Its eyes were different. Its eyes were different, and even my parents will admit to this. Whatever, I don't know whether she got some sort of like witness market version of Teddy Care or
Cheap
something.
knockoff.
Like, yeah, but it looked totally different, and its eyes looked evil. And like, even my parents were like, we had to take it away because even we were like, oh god, it does look evil. It looked crazy. And its eyes were just on wrong or something, and it just looked wrong. They were like, it was almost exactly the same, but its eyes were just like evil as fuck.
Oh, yeah, that's off-brand.
When Tommy was about 3 or 4. No, it's about 3. Yeah, it's just not long after my dad died. He started getting into Turtles. So, Krang was like the main villain. And anyway, he wouldn't get a bath without me. So I'd be sitting there. And actually, he just points to me balls and he goes, "Dad," so what? Said, "There's a Krang between your legs." So for months afterwards, he referred to my balls as Krang.
Well,
Your balls got little tentacles that come off them. I don't mean the one that you would expect.
No,
what?
Several. or were you just cupping them at the time with your fingers?
No, I just grabbed them and just went.
Oh, you bastard! I was taking a drink then.
Well, I was saying last week, good job Tommy did in the back frames, or would have a face painted on them. But I asked him last week. I said, "Do you remember when you used to look at my balls and say they were Krang?" He goes, "No." I said, "Yeah," I said, "That's what you used to call my balls, Krang."
Speaking of Krang, I
I'll
like
wait until he goes to school and tells everybody.
He's told all his kids and all his friends in school I'm Batman. Ladies and gentlemen of the public, I wish to make a statement regarding the ludicrous rumours regarding myself and an incident that supposedly happened 25 years ago. Yes, it is true that I owned a life-size cutout of the character Captain Kirk from Star Trek. On the night in question, I will freely admit that I did partake in some underage drinking. I did, however, know my limits and returned home. Upon returning to my bedroom, I discarded my clothing in favour of some warm flannel Jimmy Jams. Forgive me. Oh dear. Forgive me. Oh yes. During the state of undress between my outdoor clothing and my warm Jimmy Jams, I saw a picture of Judge Judy and Be Quiet and became, I must say to you, the public, became quite aroused. I then slipped over some discarded Vaseline and then fell upon the life-size Captain Kirk, where unfortunately my erect phallus pierced the standee at the crotch area, the shock of which sent me flying backwards onto the wall, where a rubber Cthulhu tentacle was stuck to the wall, which then entered my rectum. The kerfuffle did make me cry out loud, "Oh my!" And the sticky white substance, forgive me, and the sticky white substance on the floor that was found afterwards was not ejaculate, but simply some spilled icing from a cake making exercise earlier in the day. I will now take questions from the press. Okay, we're done. Yeah.
Smooth.
You sure you don't want to record that again now?
I was gonna say you should put the tune that thing he does. What's his name? That Gizmo. You know the singing he does. Yeah. At the end of it.
Bye bye, Billy.
Okay. Okay, we'll start off with the opening now. Before we start, did anybody have a think about what if there was a Squid Game for like video game levels?
I didn't really understand what you were asking with this. Like,
okay, right. So right
to be like what our hardest possible like game would be.
What level? So for me, it would be the dam level on Turtles for the Nintendo.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Well, we'll revisit. We'll have a think about it, and then we'll revisit it.
Actually, no. I know what my hardest level would be.
I've got one. It's
absolutely.
It's the hover thing level from Battletoads where you got to dodge the blocks.
Oh, the turbo tunnel.
Yeah.
Turbo tunnel. So Craig, you got the turbo tunnel. Mine's the dam from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Chris, what about you? You thought of one?
I wasn't quite sure, but then as soon as you asked again, it flashed into my head, which is I'm pretty sure it might even be the first level of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Sega Game Gear.
Ooh,
played
that one.
Which is you were on a slope, and at the bottom of this slope there was a saw blade, and then Robotnik was like flying around shooting like rocks at you, which would then bounce down the slope. But they didn't bounce like in a uniform way. They just they were all over the place. So you had to kind of jump over the rocks, but then not fall into this saw blade, and then avoid him as well. And it was an absolute nightmare. Nightmare. Did my nothing.
It was like the dam on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Any Turtles fans automatically get like a twitchy eye when you mention this level. You got like a time you got to disarm all these bombs, but you got to like navigate through this little maze. So you've got a maze to go through to find all these bombs, and then there's this electric seaweed that like shocks you. So I never got off that level.
I've seen
so that would be mine.
You should watch speedrunners do it though. It's mad how they do it. Like when you watch the speedrunners and like how they get through it, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. Yeah. Mike, what about you?
It's got to be Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. The very
The
last
level. The very last level.
The very last level.
So I don't think you got
the cloud levels, and then you ended up. What?
I don't think I ever got off the second level in that game. I think it was that hard.
So fucking hard. The whole game was so fucking hard.
Just thinking on as well. I think
eventually you go on, carry on.
I was going to say I'd probably choose either the land of the Sand People from Super Star Wars as well. That was like when you're going over that big chasm and it's the camera's moving slowly and you got all these like you got to jump and all these little posts. And the amount of times I died in that level was ridiculous as well. That took me a long time to beat. But yeah, so I'll probably chuck that one in as well. But yeah. Okay, well that's done. Okay, so I'll cut that out and chuck that in a little segment. Okay, right. So we'll do the wrap ups. Go on.
Do you mind if I just like re-talk about like my little like Super Mario Land levels?
Absolutely, yeah.
For a second, like, did you never like get to the end of Super Mario Land?
No, second level.
Right. So when you got to the end of Super Mario Land, you were in a little helicopter, and it was a sideways scroller.
Mm-hmm.
And you literally had to like shoot things that were coming towards you. It was fucking impossible. It took me so long. It took me hours and hours and hours and hours. I sat with a cable going to the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Like, it was plugged in just so it would actually still like be powered constantly. Do you remember we used to have the power pack and you could like, yeah. I sat with it for so long. When I finally finished that game, I had a welt on my thumb. I swear down, and it turned into like this massive water blister like 2 days later.
Nice.
Oh,
And just because I'd completed Mario.
oh.
That's how fucking like dedicated I was to fucking completing that game.
Hardcore.
Oh, it was so like massive. This like welt on the side of my hand.
Ooh.
I just wanted to point that out.
No, that is dedication. That is absolute dedication. Well done, you. Can we give him a round of applause?
I'm bowing, by the way. I'm bowing. Bowing.
Excuse me.
Waka Fanari.
I don't know. I'll make up the name of it as we go. So I'm going to tell you a story, and you know, I'm going to read it to you like I read a story to Tommy when he was between 4 and 5. All that time in work when I read when I was on Broken Promise and we were bored one day, so I read 50 Shades of Grey to the girls on our team. So this is called Pooh Goes Ape S, not by A.M. Milne. Everything was rather quiet in the 100-acre wood. The trees whispered to each other as the wind rustled their leaves. Under a large oak tree lived Pooh Bear, and from inside his house there came a steady bang, bang, bang. That was making his honey jars rattle on the sideboard. The light came through the window, and in the evening sun, Pooh raised the axe once more and brought it down on the tattered remains of Christopher Robin. "Why won't you fit?" puffed Pooh to himself as the axe came down once more. There was a small pile of earth and a hole next to it, which Pooh had hidden with his favourite rug. Christopher Robin, selfish little prick that he was, didn't quite fit in the hole that Pooh had dug, so instead of making it wider, Pooh had hidden his favourite... Pooh decided to hack Christopher Robin's legs off. A far more sensible idea, thought Pooh, and hummed a little song to himself as he cut the last tendon and rammed the rest of the body in the hole, finally covering it up with the rug. "Always too bossy," said Pooh. "Always too bossy, grabbing me by the paw and saying, 'Come on, Pooh Bear, let's have an adventure.' Oh, Pooh, you are so silly," in that affected, cutesy, spoiled brat voice. Stupid little bastard. Pooh had waited all afternoon for Christopher Robin to come round, humming a little tuneless tune to himself while gazing blankly into the fire, fondling the oaken axe handle. When Christopher Robin finally turned up, squeaking in his child actor voice, "Come on, Pooh, open up!" Pooh had answered the door as normal as anything, talked about the weather, and then went to the cupboard and fetched the axe. While Christopher Robin sat there prattling about what a silly pair Boo was and how he had a very little brain, which wound up Pooh to no end. Pooh had raised the axe very gently and brought it down with a satisfying thud on Christopher Robin's skull, cleaving it virtually in two, with just some little bits of muscle fibre in place just to keep them upright. Freezing Christopher Robin's eyes wide in horror that Pooh, lovable Pooh, would do such a thing. Pooh giggled a little and wiped some saliva from his mouth with a shaky paw, and then Pooh, calm as anything, mopped up the blood, washed the axe, and begun to dig the hole. Piglet had wondered why Pooh had not called that morning to have his tea and biscuits, and so he decided to visit Pooh instead. He admired the evening sun and blood red and listened to the birds singing. Pooh watched them get nearer and nearer, and then he plugged in the drill. Piglet had no time to realise what had happened. The drill pierced his skull, sending beautiful fountain of blood all over Pooh's orange hide. He rubbed the blood in and all over himself, licking, always licking. Then he pulled Piglet inside and put him into the cupboard. A syringe lay on the sideboard. Pooh had picked it up, paws shaking and sweating, and filled up the solution with a funny white powder that had been given to him previously by a very strangely spaced out rabbit. It was a strange effect at first, and Pooh thought he'd seen many strange things, but then he experienced a euphoric feeling of power. It made him irritable, and Christopher Robin and Piglet had everything that was coming to them. No doubt at all, when night had fallen, Pooh dragged the bodies out and buried them in a makeshift grave. But that's a story for another day, boys and girls.
Yeah. Where the hell did you get that from?
Oh, I heard it years ago. I think it was in sixth form when I heard of this. But yeah, have you ever heard of it, Chris?
Vaguely, yeah.
No, I've never heard of it.
No, it was that and Duck Job that was going around with Donald Duck getting a blowjob.
Oh, that's that way he goes, oh my god, play with the balls, play with the... Yeah, I know that one.
Then he makes that noise and goes, I'll go get you a towel.
Yeah, you know what? That was actually on TikTok yesterday as well. I heard it on TikTok. I was like, oh, I've not heard this for ages.
Okay, so before we go, what was everybody's favourite Christmas present growing up?
Oh,
not as an adult. up to like, I don't know, 12.
Oh, I don't know. I got so many. Like as we were saying, I think we were all quite spoiled.
Yeah.
The amount of games that we used to get, like consoles and stuff like that. Like I got my Sega Mega Drive. I got my Super Nintendo. I got the PlayStation and the PlayStation 2 all for like Christmas and stuff like that. So I haven't got a clue. It's I'm
definitely gonna have to say mine was the Game Boy. Not nice. Because of what it was, because I did have it like until I was in my 20s. But it was more the fact that my parents put it, I think I've told this story before, that my parents put it in a box with air holes saying, careful, this bites, and it was just the surprise of that. Obviously, honourable mention would be Boulder Hill from Mask.
Nice.
Yeah. Now that... It didn't do much, but I think it was just a huge like play set. And
yeah,
if you remember it, Chris, but yeah, because I had all the cars, so I just used it as a base, and it was well played with. But yeah,
Well, this is it. Like when you had like all the bases that you got for the various different like things. Like we had Castle Grayskull, we had Snake Mountain, and then we had the one that Hordak had as well. Hordak's base.
Did they have a Hordak one?
Yeah, and they had like a hand puppet as like the snake that came out the cave.
I had it. Yeah, I did have it.
Yeah,
there you go.
Fright Zone.
I was going to say to make
the Fright Zone. That's it.
I was going to say to make it a bit easier. What was your favourite toy that wasn't a console then?
Boulder Hill.
I got the Megazords when I was younger, and I do. Nice. I loved them.
Ooh.
Nice. I know what mine is. Mine is Manta Force.
Oh, I remember Manta Force. We was talking about that, me and mate, the other day.
Yeah, Manta Force was it was the line of toys made by a British company called Bluebird, and it was they were supposed to be like divided into two different like factions sort of thing. But the main thing and the thing that I got was this great big spaceship. And it's like this big kind of flying triangle. But inside the spaceship, you had all these little vehicles.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the men that you put in the vehicles, they're only tiny. Like, they were only tiny little figures. But the main thing was these vehicles and what have you. And they were wicked. And I always remember being gutted because they did another one, which was called Red Venom. And that was like the bad guy ship.
I remember that.
And my mate had it. And I used to go to a church youth club, and they had we had like a jumble sale, that sort of thing. And one of them was on sale on the stall I was on, and I was waiting for my parents to get there to buy it. And somebody bought it just before they got there, and I was gutted. And when I mentioned it to the guy who was like running it, he said, "Well, why didn't you just put it behind for yourself?"
I was supposed to say the same thing.
And I was like, "What? Can you do that?" And he was like, "Well, yeah." And I was like, "Oh," and I was gutted. So I never had it. They did have, I think they had like a base as well, but I didn't have the base. And then they kind of expanded it out to like, I think they had like a third faction, and like everything, they expanded it so that it included slime sort of stuff, and it all got, and but by then I think I was older by that point. So but I remember getting it for Christmas, and I loved it. I thought it was absolutely great. All these little vehicles in this big spaceship. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember Manta Force. I think one of my friends had them. Do you remember Starcom?
Yes. Oh yeah. The vehicles moved, didn't they?
Yeah. So they had like this. I think the fascinating thing about this, NASA actually helped like in the design process of the toys. So they based it like roughly on, well, the hero ships anyway was roughly based on the design, like with like, what's the word? So it was all capsules, wasn't it? So you'd have like a little capsule that would fold out into like a medical bay and stuff like that. And they'd all go into the main ships.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they had like little what was it, like the figures were small as well, like Manta Force, but had magnets on things so they could actually stand on the ships as well, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the TV series as well. I think I watched it on YouTube a couple of months ago. It's bringing it all back now. I think we just have to go.
I'm sat here looking at all the Manta Force stuff. I remember, like all the little vehicles had names, so I can remember them and everything. Oh,
I didn't have any of these.
No, I think Craig. I don't think you was even born when these were out.
Probably not.
No.
But it's just looking at them. They're dead simplistic. It's not like but they were wicked.
They was like, remember Dino Riders?
Oh, Dino Riders were awesome. I never had them, although I had like the first episode on video on VHS. Yeah. I had the first episode of Dino Riders on VHS. We had the first episode of Transformers, and I've got all the Transformers series now. Thanks to Dawn. Dawn got me them on DVD for Christmas one year. So I've got all them there, and yeah.
Even Takara?
No, all the
Let's just say when I was in the loft the other day, obviously avoiding as Ian calls it, the Babadook. I saw what I had up there. And I forgot. I've got like the first edition of Thunderbirds on VHS. I was like, bloody hell! Yeah, the first episode on tape I've got up there, like in like a proper paper sleeve as well, and it's proper mint. Like nothing wrong with it at all. It's like bloody Thunderbirds.
Get that on eBay.
God,
you remember when Blue Peter did the thing where you had to make Tracy Island?
Yeah.
Oh, it got really popular, didn't it? Do you remember that, Craig? Was that way before your time?
Which?
When Blue Peter did like build your own Tracy Island.
I think it might. I do know obviously about Blue Peter, but like I never really watched it, so it probably was well before my time as well.
Yeah, but that was I think kids just went crazy when that was on TV. People were recording it and everything, trying to sell the sheets. But yeah. Oh, well, this is a nice little end to the episode.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Oh, little sweet. Okay, so my question is, and we've all got our different handles on social media. So, where did you get your name from? So I'll start off with you, Chris.
Me, right? Okay.
Yeah. What is your secret origin?
Right, so mine goes back to when I was at university, and actually it goes back to Blizzard. It goes back to Battle.net, because I was playing StarCraft online on Battle.net.
Yeah.
And I needed a username. I think at the time it was just the kind of one that I have for my email, which is a bit sort of long-winded. Yeah. And I was playing Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer a fair bit at the time.
Yeah.
I was quite into Games Workshop through most of my teen years and so on.
Yeah.
And they'd released a newish army around that sort of time. So you're looking at 98. Well, when did I go uni? So 2000 and onwards. They'd released a new
army for Warhammer 40,000, which is their futuristic one, called Tau. And the Tau are very much anime based. The whole style is like big mech suits, flying tanks, rail guns. So it's straight out of anime. So I was all over that. I thought they were wicked. And the leaders of the Tau are called Ethereals.
Oh.
So my username, I think I tried to use Ethereal on Battle.net and somebody had already taken it. So I put UK on the end because that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And there you go. And fortunately, Ethereal UK is usually available on pretty much everything else. So I think the only thing it wasn't, I think, was on Twitter, because my Twitter is @ethereal_UK_ because Ethereal UK was taken. But on pretty much all the gaming platforms and everything else I've been on, Ethereal UK has been available. So that's my handle online. So
that's your secret origin.
Yeah. So just if I talk, nobody actually calls me Ethereal. I'm not a pro gamer or anything, but if it was, then it would be Ethereal, not Ethereal UK. But for all intents and purposes online, it's Ethereal UK. So
brilliant. Okay, Craig, where did you get Mount Fat Glory from?
Me and my mate actually come up with it when they first got me Xbox. Like I said mine at first, and then I didn't know what he meant when he said fat, and like it's meant to be like it's like it means like thick or heavy. So obviously referring to penis. Like he said that, and then he told me, and then I just put glory on the end of it. So that's it, really. So there's no big story.
So basically, Craig's got a very high opinion of himself.
Like I said, it was just and then it's always just like I've used it all the time. Like I said.
And he just screams glory whenever he climax goes, glory!
No, it's a success!
Okay, Mike, what about you? What's your story? Why is it System Smoke?
So mine actually comes from an actual thing that happened. Back in about 99, 2000, I was building a computer. And I've been doing it for a long time. But I don't know if you remember, but back then when you were building computers, you would place everything on jumpers on the motherboard. Like you do now, but everything's labeled up now on a motherboard. Yeah. And I plugged a USB. Oh, no, it wasn't a USB port. I plugged I think it was the reset button into the wrong jumper. Yeah. And when I turned the computer on, the whole cable fried. And smoke started coming out of the whole system, and literally that's where I came up with System Smoke. And then sort of like later on, I named my YouTube channel that. What's really funny though is a few years ago, I think it was about 5 years ago, I got an email to cease and desist using my YouTube name, System Smoke, bit off. Some guy was running a vape shop in Germany that he wanted to call System Smoke, and he wanted my YouTube channel, and he was like, you will give me your YouTube channel or I will take you to court. And I was like, you ain't getting it, mate. So then I emailed Google to say this guy's trying to say that he's going to sue me, and they were just like, just ignore him. He can't do shit. He can't take your YouTube channel off you.
Yeah, I would take you to court. What for?
Yeah, what for? Having a YouTube channel with the same name. And I was like, the stupid thing is, that YouTube channel has been called that way before you trademark that name on a website.
It just got cool.
Oh, what's brilliant though? He named the website systemsmoke.de, I think it was. So I went and bought systemsmoke.com, systemsmoke.co.uk. Just bought them all out, and I still own them, but I don't do anything with them just to fuck him over.
Amazing, I love it. That's absolutely brilliant. Well, I've supposed to got two handles, but I'll go with the Geeky Dad's pretty simple. Somebody used to say that.
Come from, Ian?
So it actually comes from the fact that somebody, I won't name names because I'm not going to be petty and we're on an okay basis at the moment. But he said about Tommy, he said, well, don't want to end up like you. What do you mean to the geek? So I just took it down as a F you to that person. I said, well, call myself the geeky dad from now, because that's who I am.
How is that an insult in any way? Like being.
I know, yeah. Say you don't want to be a geek, so I just owned it and just went, you know what, I'm the geeky dad.
Right, you do that, yeah.
But my original handle used to be Johnny Lass. So
it did, yeah.
Yeah, so I was Johnny Lass for me DeviantArt like pages. I've still got it. My Twitter, Johnny Lass. The PlayStation was Johnny Lazarus, but changed it to the Geeky Dad. So it used to be when I used to play it. It started off when I played. I used to use the name Lazarus whenever I created a character on SmackDown.
Yeah.
It always used to look a bit like Jeff Hardy. It used to be one like it used to look like the Hardy Boys, but I kept the name going whenever I made a new character. And John is French for Ian, or Ian's French for John. So it just went Johnny, and I just shortened Lazarus to Laz. And I think there's a DJ in America who owns Johnny Laz now. So I hardly ever use it anymore. But yeah, that was Johnny Laz. So it's Ian Lazarus basically. But yeah, I just like the name Lazarus. I thought it was. I didn't think biblical. I thought it just sounded cool. You know what I mean? It was just like badass, that name Lazarus.
Yeah.
But I became the Geeky Dad then. And stuck with it. And so
nice.
It's Johnny Lazarus who was back then. Doing darkly humorous horror-based art, and now it's Geeky Dad. Talking about Geeky Dad things. But yeah, that's it. That's my secret origins.
Very nice.
Yeah, but yeah. So I just thought I was still curious if there was like a little bonus.
Yeah, I like that.
Bonus I like that a lot. Where our secret origin stories. But yeah, that's
it. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, banana. 1 skin, 2 skin, 3 skin, 4 skin.
Oh, hi guys. What the fuck? What the fuck is this? Okay. Is anybody else here? Oh, fucking hell. How the fuck did we get in here? Guys? Hello?
My God.
Help! There's nobody else here. Oh, fuck. It's coming right at me.
Good evening. This is Ian from the Geeky Dads podcast here with a special request. Last week, as you may have heard, our good friend Michael was attacked by a gremlin. I'm sorry to say, this gremlin did things to him. Sexual things involving a glockenspiel. I'm happy to say that with quick surgical precision at the doctors at a local medical centre, Michael is now making a full recovery. But friends, we cannot let this happen again. We have started a campaign. If you pledge to us, we will help the gremlin use much better and safer toys on Michael. For example, for £10 a month, you can pay for a tentacle-shaped dildo, all the way up to if you pay us £300, we will buy the gremlin a strap-on, a 15-inch strap-on, in the shape of a whale's penis. And not only that, my friends, we will also pay the lube, not just any lube. This will be the Hellraiser pepper flavoured lube. A pepper so hot, it will quite literally tear Michael's arse apart. We can't let this happen again. We want to make our gremlin very happy, and Michael to never be able to sit down ever again. Thank you very much for listening. Take care and stay safe.